So the big question is, do I think the Vaporfly 4 is an improvement on the Vaporfly 1? So is it just as good, or if not better? Well, shoe comparison I got for you guys today. So we are going to put the brand new Nike Vaporfly 4 up against the OG Vaporfly 1. So I'll go through what's the same, what's different, what's better, and what is not better in each shoe. And then hopefully from that, that'll give you guys an indication of see how this new Vaporfly 4 stacks up against the OG. But before we get into it, and if you guys want to support the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So I'm going to do this shoe comparison a little bit different to the rest. So I'm pretty much just going to cut to the chase. I'm not going to go through the upper materials, the outsole, the midsole. If you want to check all that stuff out, then just go check out one of the early reviews of the Vaporfly 4 that I've done already. So to cut to the chase, what is different between these two shoes? Well, that's a hard one because pretty much everything has changed in the shoe. The Vaporfly 4 has pretty much had a complete remake of what it used to be in the Vaporfly 1. So a simpler answer would be, what is the same between the two shoes? Well, there is only a couple of things that for me are familiar. So it does share the same internal heel pad. So the Vaporfly stayed true with that one. It also does still use ZoomX foam, but the ZoomX, I believe, is certainly a different formulation because it certainly feels very different underfoot. And they both do share a carbon plate. However, the shape of the carbon plate and the placement of the carbon plate are very different. But in the differences, the upper of the 4 is much better. So they use an engineered mesh where they use the vapor weave here. So the breathability and the flexibility of this upper is a marked improvement. The lacing system is also a big improvement in the Vaporfly 4. So it goes up and down the shoe, and these brand new shoe laces, you get a much better lockdown, I think, through the midfoot. And in general, the shoe just fits better. So it's more comfortable, it's easier to get your foot in. It's less fiddly to tie up and to get the tongue nice and straight on the foot. Even though the Vaporfly 1, when you stick your foot, it's fiddly to put your foot in, but when you get this shoe in, it feels like this thing is just locked down all over the place. So it sort of fits just like a glove on the shoe, and you feel really sucked into the shoe. But yeah, it's certainly, the fit is a marked improvement on the Vaporfly 4. I do think the heel counter of the Vaporfly 1 is better than the 4 because I get a better heel lockdown in the 1 over the 4. So how I tested the shoes. So what I had done here, because I've actually got 2 pairs of the Vaporfly 1. So I've got my other pair just there, as you can see. So what I did, I certainly had to test out which Vaporfly 1, because they are so old, they've been just sitting around in boxes in my cupboard. So I had to find out which of these Vaporflies had the most life or the most energy, which one was preserved the most. So I done 2 500 meter reps in the green pair. And then I done a shoe change. I put the blue ones on, done another 2 500 meter reps in that pair. And from there, I gauged which of those 2 Vaporflies was the best, or which one still had the most life in it. And I pretty much couldn't tell the difference. And then I done the shoe change into the Vaporfly 4, and I done 4 500 meter reps in this shoe. And then I got a feel for this shoe, and after those reps, I did pick the green pair of Vaporfly to do the final 500 meter reps in. Now, how did these reps go? So for the first 2 500 meter reps in the Vaporfly green pair here that I've got, so yeah, I had all those old feelings come back. So I was reminiscing about the first time that I put this shoe on my foot and just the wow factor that this shoe came with. So absolutely amazed. Obviously didn't get that wow factor again because obviously I've been testing a lot of other shoes now, and back in the day the Vaporfly didn't really have any competitors because this was the original super shoe. So but I did have memories of that, and on the first rep, yep, I did get those vibes back. Like I just felt that power out of the forefoot. I felt the foam compress, I could feel the bounce, and I felt super fast in the shoe. But yeah, a really unique thing about the Vaporfly for me, it's just, I think this geometry at the front and the way this plate works for me, the plate works, it feels kind of flat, like it's the shape of a pancake for me. and I really feel really close to the ground, and I can really power off on this flat forefoot, and I really get like, I just feel so much powerful. From the shape and from the plate, I can really feel the plate working like a bit of a lever for me and propelling me forward. So really enjoyed the first 2 reps of this shoe, and really the purpose of the second 2 500-meter reps was just to see, just to see which Vaporfly felt better. So I put the blue pair on, done the next 2, and I couldn't really feel the difference between either pair. So the green and the white pair felt exactly the same. As I said, they've got about the same amount of Ks on them, but they have been sitting around a long time in the cupboard, so couldn't tell the difference between those 2. Still the same ride. It does feel like this shoe bottoms out quite quickly though, the Vaporfly one. You can feel you certainly hit the ground, and you certainly have that ground feel under the forefoot as well, but that's probably why I feel really powerful out of the forefoot in that shoe. And then come time for the 4 reps, for 4 500-meter reps in the Vaporfly 4. And as soon as I put the shoe on, what jumped out to me is how easy it was to get my foot in the shoe, how easy it was to lace up, and just how comfortable the upper was. And when I started walking around in it, I could feel the difference in the foam. So the life of the foam, the stack height felt higher than the V1, even though the foam actually felt softer, it had more sink, but it certainly had more rebound just walking over to the start of the rep. And certainly I could feel it in the forefoot as well, lots more foam in the forefoot. Then I started the reps, and straight away what I noticed is I didn't get that flat, powerful feeling out of the forefoot. I could certainly feel that it's got much more foam and much more bounce out of the whole shoe in general. But yeah, you don't get that flat road feeling in the forefoot of this shoe that I get in the Vaporfly 1. Saying that though, this shoe was so much smoother than the V1. Yeah, so much smoother, and just the bounce that I got in comparison to the V1 was, it was very different. But that could be down to how old the foam is in those shoes as well. But yeah, this shoe felt a lot more cushioned. There was a lot more life into the Zoom X, so a lot more bounce, a lot more pop, a lot more responsiveness. But as I said, I still got a lot more sink in this. So this heel collapses more than the V1, which was very surprising. But still, saying that, I didn't perceive that I could get that road feel out of the forefoot and get the power out of the forefoot. However, I still felt extremely fast in this shoe. So I didn't feel any slower in the Vaporfly 4 than what I did in the Vaporfly 1. So quite surprised about that. But the big thing here is just how different it feels on the forefoot. So you get that really flat forefoot power feeling out of the Vaporfly 1, because it feels like that plate just gets nice and flat. It's not like a huge aggressive rocker, but it just flattens out on this shape on the forefoot, and it feels like you can really use that plate to lever off. Whereas this one, I think the shape, yeah, it's more rounded, the shape in the forefoot here, so you're getting, you don't have that flat plane where you can power off. It's more like a, as you can see, the carbon plate's bent, so it's more of a roll forward type feeling and a squish into the foam, and you power off like so. But yeah, those were the big differences between the reps. According to my testing today, well, I would think that the Vaporfly 4 it's moving in a positive direction. So I can't say if it feels any faster or if it feels slower, but it certainly feels more comfortable. It feels more refined. It feels the upper fits better. Yeah, there's more cushion to it. There's more bounce to it. But again, the age of the foam in the other shoe also could be a factor. I think we need to talk about our love affair with this shoe, because when this was created, there didn't really have any competition, and we all started wearing this shoe. It was like a real wow factor shoe. We didn't have anything to compare it to, so our memories of this shoe, it just blew everything out of the water. It just felt so fast. It felt so different. And I think those memories are just ingrained in us, and they're just these memories that will stick to this shoe. So I've got my 10K PB in this shoe, and I've got my half marathon PB in the Vaporfly 4, and then still my memories are as this is the fastest shoe that I've ever had. But in comparison now, when I'm loading it straight up against the brand new model, and yeah, I can't say that it feels any faster than it doesn't feel faster to me than the new model. So if anything, it feels just a little flatter. And yeah, it's just, as I said, it's just not as comfortable. So if I'm going to race in this shoe this weekend, so I've got a 5K this weekend, and I've got to pick between these two shoes, which one I'm going? Well, I'm going to go the Vaporfly 4. So yeah, it just feels like it's got a little bit more punch in this foam. The foam has definitely been updated because it feels just like it's just got more, that rebound has just got more pop these days in this new Zoom X, more so over the older Zoom X, which was really marshmallowy. Good signs for the Vaporfly 4, but just remember it's not going to stand out as much as because we've just had all those other super shoes now that this shoe is getting compared to. Remember, this shoe came out when there was nothing else, and we had nothing to compare it to, because so this has just got God vibes about it, where this now, comparing them directly together, it does still feel like the better shoe, but remember, we've been numbed in our senses because we've had all those other super shoes to try out now. So this one doesn't feel so super anymore, just because it's got so much competition. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Any questions you've got regarding these two shoes, anything that I didn't cover or you want me to explain between these two shoes, just drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.